Good afternoon. I thought I'd walk you through the process of how to start your seedlings. So the first thing to do is you can go to any Walmart or feed store and you can get some starter seed bins and also a tray so that it catches the water and it's easier to move. The second thing to do is have your seeds ready to be planted in their slots that you pick for them. Usually you would have little labels that you could put on the bin of seeds so you know what seed is where. Unfortunately, I forgot to buy them, so today we will be using paper and a pin and making sure that we keep track of where our seeds are. So the first thing you want to do is fill up the tray with soil, and it can be any seed starter or compost that the store has. It doesn't need to be anything special. Just ask the clerk. You could just ask the clerk what you should use for it and they'll be able to tell you. So this part you will probably get a little dirty just because the soil likes to go everywhere when you dump it in. And don't be afraid to get your hands dirty as you're doing it. I love starting seeds because the soil starter, it just smells like spring and you're ready to be outside. Alright, so the first seeds that I'm going to start are some tomato seeds. And we had talked about them earlier. So you want to open your packet. And tomato seeds are pretty small, so you want to be careful when you're opening it and dumping it in your hand so that they don't go everywhere. You want to take one or two seeds and place them in each of the little pots and push them down and then cover with soil. And for small seeds, it's okay if more than two fall in. You'll just have to thin them later. Try to put them on opposite sides of the pot so that when you do have to thin them, it doesn't disrupt the soil around the other seeds or the other plant. All right, so you'll want to sort of cover them back over. And you don't want to push them all the way down. I'd say, push up to like your fingertip length. You don't want them to be super deep, then it takes them longer to come up and sometimes they don't make it all the way. And then make sure to record where you put the seeds so that you don't get confused. So these are the Soldaki tomatoes. Then you can put those to the sides and do your next seeds. So these are the Oplica paste tomato. So again, we'll open it carefully and repeat the process. And sometimes the seeds are stuck together, but that's okay. I'd rather have more in there than not enough to get something to grow. And again, we talked about it before. It's just some of these seeds, if you start them earlier, then you won't have to worry so much when they're in the garden because they'll be ready to go against any weather or wind or drought because you would have started them and then hardened them off before you put them in the garden. And put any extra seeds that were left in your hand back in its container. And again, make sure to write it down. And then just keep going. We're starting our tomatoes early and our peppers because those can take up to 90 days. Some spaghetti squash and some acorn squash. Again, they take a lot longer than some carrots or beets. It's better to get them started so they have more time to grow. I'll move on to the sun gold cherry tomatoes. And I've moved on to the pepper seeds, as you can see, and it looks like crushed red peppers except without the red bits in with it. Now I'm choosing just right now to start the seeds within 6 of the seed holders, but in another couple weeks I'll start another round so that we can have them in succession. And also if the first batch for whatever reason doesn't grow or we set it out too early and it gets a frost, we'll have backups and won't have to start right from scratch. 2 more to go and then we can water. Now I'm doing the spaghetti squash. I've never seen these types of seeds either. Ooh, they're quite big. So for these, since they're bigger and these are very tiny pots, I will just put 1 in per. On to our last one, the acorn squash. And again, I will just do 1 of them in each one, just because they're bigger. And as the plants grow, there's different sizes of containers you can get, so you can just keep transplanting to make sure that the roots have enough room to grow. But right now, this is a perfect size for just when they're starting out. All right, so there's our seeds, and they are in the soil, which is great. And now I will water. So the best option right now I have for watering is a cup. I didn't really think that through, but I don't have a watering can here. So we'll try to water them without getting water everywhere. And I'd like to give it a little shake just so it starts to go down from the surface. You can also poke at them to get the air pockets out, but then you get a dirty finger. You want to make sure as you're keeping up with the watering, and you don't want them saturated all the time. So as you continue watering for the next few weeks, you want to make sure that they're not completely saturated in water, but not completely dry either, so it's just sort of damp, because you don't want to overwater them because they will not germinate that way. And there you go, we've started our seeds. We'll see you next time.